God Our Alive. I've been more or less forced to take a hiatus here uh, for personal reasons, loss and grief being the underlying reasons. But I wanted to talk a little bit about uh, the concept of purpose, and I've captioned today's session, if you will, "Hope in a Hopeless World." That's actually a reference to a Widespread Panic song, uh, which is a great song actually, and kind of underlies some of what I wanted to talk about. Uh, when you have no apparent reason to live, bear in mind I'm not suicidal or anything like that. I'm speaking objectively. I have a very logical based mind, which is why it was so difficult for me to embrace Christianity for the longest. Uh, and I'm not seeking pity or anything of that, but let me lay it out. Uh, I have no family remaining to me except for some cousins, uh, one of which I never hear from because he's unhoused or whatever the politically correct term for it is. The other who is in the service and busy with that life, and his own family and such, and lives far away. uh, so in my immediate surroundings, I have no family. You know, my mother and father passed away several years ago. My mother not so long, but my dad much longer than her. I have no brothers or sisters. I have no children. I have no wife or significant other at this point. Uh, but I survived a pretty extreme car accident in 2010, at which point my survival was in question, but not only that, my ability to ever walk again, to come out of the coma for one thing, but then to, considering I had bone fragments on the back of my eyeballs, good morning, it was in doubt if I'd ever see again, walk again, or whatever. But by the grace of God, I'm able to do all of the above. I go to work every day, almost every single day. Uh, but for the longest, I thought my purpose, that God saved me and restored me to health, was to take care of my parents when they passed away. But uh, they passed away and I didn't. I'm still here. So I'm looking for purpose and I'm still trying to find hope in a hopeless world. Um, and I do feel more or less that the world is hopeless, that we're way too reliant on the internet and AI, and we're not treating our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, as we should, as the Bible says we should. The Bible is very irrelevant to day life, at least here in America. Now, I'm in rural Alabama. We are still very conservative, hardcore Christian for the most part. And I'm blessed to live in that kind of community. Um, but it is me against the world. Um, so I've struggled with wondering, why am I still alive, God? A lot of times it's very painful for me. All the injuries I sustained, which include broken back, shoulder, ribs, punctured lung, facial reconstruction, tracheotomy, ostomy, whatever, the tube in the throat thing, feeding tubes in me, broke my legs, uh, all this stuff I was healed from. I mean, there's obviously some problems with my face, and bless the surgeons, they did a great job, but it doesn't feel right, you know what I mean? And it doesn't look right in the mirror. It's not what I expect, it's not what my mind sees as me. In any case, what's my purpose? Why am I still here? Well, to do God's work, I believe, and to try to maintain my humility while doing it. And that's the danger of an online platform, is you become obsessed with subscribers and followers and things like that. Now, it was paramount that we get to 50 subscribers to start the live streaming process on YouTube, but whatever. Uh, I'm very glad to see a lot of people have subscribed since then, almost on a daily basis. And therefore, good morning. I'm doing very well, actually. Uh, as I was saying, to keep myself to having a purpose, I had adopted a parrot after my mother passed away. And uh, then shortly after my mom passed away, I suffered a relapse. I'm a retired addict, but I relapsed. But that bird got me through my drug addiction, uh, through everything. It gave me a reason to get up in the morning, something to love, something to care for, when I didn't have anything else tangible to do that for or with. Um, and I recently lost that bird. That's why God Hour's been on hold for the last several days. I also turned 43 on the 14th, and birthdays stop being fun after you become an adult, as I found out pretty quickly. In any case, I believe my purpose is to try to bring people to Christ. And really, I think that should be or can be everybody's purpose. But people have families, people have objective reasons to get up and go to work, and people that depend on them. I don't have anybody that depends on me. If I were to die today, I'd be okay with that. I'm not suicidal, it's not that kind of thing, but nobody would suffer as a result of me passing away. Maybe a few distant relatives or uh, friends would acknowledge and maybe even grieve a little bit, but they wouldn't be financially burdened or anything like that. So, what do what keeps me going? Uh, well, I do have a good job. It's not a glorious job. It's not, anything. No company revolves around me living or dying. But my community needs me to do my job. My boss is a very great person, and she needs me. So I have purpose in that sense, uh, responsibility in that sense. In any case, this is a Christian stream, so we need to talk a little bit about the Bible. um, and usually I record a short every day, as some of you may know. I don't know. I'm going to include the short in today's God Hour Live. It says, and this is just an algorithm fed to me by this app. Philippians chapter 1, verse 3. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you. Now, taking that single verse just by itself doesn't give me a good idea of context. In fact, that verse ends with a comma, so it's not a complete sentence. Uh, but Philippians 1, that part has captured the heart of the apostle. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making requests with joy for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. That gives a lot better context to that single verse. This is St. Paul talking to, in a letter to the Philippians, hence the name of the book, Philippians, uh, letting them know he's thanking God upon every remembrance of them, uh, in every prayer of mine for you all, making request with joy. He's thanking God for his fellow men. And I can relate to that a lot easier than just simply that kind of confusing verse. Uh, I thank my God for everybody that's contributed to God Hour, allowing it to become a live streaming platform by their subscribes and their likes and feeding the algorithm. Um, Now, if you're familiar, my shorts also include a quote of the day, generally from a secular nature. Usually I try to do one from memory. So I'm going to put one out today that uh, it's a pretty, it's a very good one. It's a Shakespeare quote. It says, "Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice." And that's a good principle. Uh, but it lacks a little bit uh, in context. Uh, give every man that gives you his ear your voice, I would say. But don't deny someone your voice for no reason. Anybody that's welcome to, as the Bible says, he that hath an ear, let him hear. And I have a visitor apparently, but that's good. We need people in our lives. Uh, anyway, how is everybody else? I'd like to mention that godhour.org is still a registered domain. When I get around to it, uh, everything will just be, it'll be available on YouTube, but also just through the website. It'll be an embedded stream, and you can do you can reach out through email if you have prayer requests, anything like that. Admin@godhour.org. That's currently available, and when I get around to it, I'll set up a hosting plan when I get the money, that kind of thing, the time. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to touch base back with God Hour Live, get back into my routine, explain the hiatus, and share that little bit of gospel and um, wisdom from Shakespeare. So you all have a great day. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the morning.